And acceptance is the answer to all my problems today. When any person, place, thing that I am goody. But we have the music playing.
Got it.
Can we cut the music?
I just did, just now.
There we go. Welcome back. Music's back on. Listen, welcome back, everyone. We have switched the system up, and as we all know, that type of stuff happens. So, welcome back to 2218's Attitude for Gratitude weekly live podcast. I wonder if we could hear someone else do some introduction stuff tonight.
Hey everybody, I'm Tad, and I just want to welcome you into 2218's Attitude for Gratitude. We got the lovely Elena sitting at the computer producing for us,
Doing her job.
doing her damn job,
And doing a great job.
the best job. I got Timmy J. Hey, and me, I'm Tad A. If you have any questions about the podcast, want to help with 2218, want to show up at Gopher State and be on the podcast, because we'll be grabbing people.
20 days away, bro.
Yeah, 20 days away, bro. It'll be cool. Get at me at Tad Ackerman on Facebook or Tad Ackerman1. Our numbers and emails will be in there. You can contact Elena, or you can contact Timothy at
Timothy J. Warren on Facebook, or the phone number that I'm going to provide on there for you. Tonight we got a couple powerhouse guests. We got Nick and Todd on the show tonight, and we will be introducing them more thoroughly here after we do some promotions and tell you guys, like Tad was saying, Gopher State's coming, 20 days away. We've got all sorts of Alanos doing all sorts of things. We've got Jane firing up some I talked to Jane, and we might be doing like tater tot hot dish. We got all sorts of crazy stuff going on, but that is where we're going to be having the podcast from.
Yeah, we're going to have food. We are partnering with the Gratitude Cafe,
Yes.
Attitude for Gratitude at Gopher
Yes.
State. It is going to be amazing.
Yes.
Hey, have you heard the brand new vision statement? Because I bet the president never sent it to you. Did
No, I've been reading the same one.
I bet he didn't.
No, if you could, yeah.
The 22 through 23 vision
No,
for the Alamo Society of Minneapolis
let's hear it.
to be the premier Alamo clubhouse serving the community by offering support, strength, and hope to those seeking recovery and their families. Our core values at this clubhouse include recovery, wellness, inclusiveness, and innovation.
I like it. A lot more in depth. I do. I like that. That's a hell of a vision statement. So, Tad, we haven't heard your voice in a while. What's been up? You were going to get asked that.
Working. I'm on sabbatical for the summer.
That a boy.
If you didn't know, then
Oh yeah.
I
Hey
guess it
Elena,
was
he's on sabbatical
I
for the
told her.
summer.
I told her.
Message time.
I will be sporadically appearing, but I'm taking the summer off till September. And look, man, we're gonna be moving. We might be in the same direction, but things
Yep.
will change.
Yep.
What this does is, so a lot of the ideas we had and stuff creatively came through me. So with moving forward, this will give Tim and Elena an idea of what it takes to run the show, and they'll have different ideas when we come back in September, and I will have a new lens. I'm getting looks, but like we've all ran a show by ourselves before, but I do a lot of little side things, and Tim is learning that now too. And it's one thing, because Tim's always just kept the show going. I've provided, me and Tim have a back and forth. I provide different angles, and I do the behind the scenes, and Elena does the technical stuff. And that's, and with Matt, we brought him in to help too, so that we could get Elena to have more of a presence on the microphone, because a lot of people wanted a female voice. That was something to the viewers. So as we're changing this up, this is absolutely the time to tell us.
Yeah.
Because, things will probably mostly be the same this summer, but like,
But that's why we are actively asking the audience, hey, make this your show. Come to us with some ideas. What do you want to see?
like
What do you want to hear?
We might not be an interactive show next September.
Yeah.
Because no one's interacting.
Yeah. It's
It's
very,
very
very few and
few.
far between.
We have to ask people
Yeah.
to do questions.
And you know what? Anyone listen, I do have a core group of people that do send me questions every week. what he's talking about is more or
When we
less.
were first on,
Yes, we were getting 30,
The-
40 questions. a
yeah,
night.
the guests would talk about something for 20 minutes and then they'd be answering the questions.
yeah.
And that was how the show went.
Yeah.
And
I don't
now-
know how it kind of went away from that. I don't know how it did, but
I don't know if we plateaued or what, but
Yeah.
we're going to be reaching new audiences. We're going to be partnering maybe with treatment centers, maybe not. That's something we've looked
We've got a
into.
lot of opportunities ahead of us.
We've had people, we've had offers,
Mm-hmm.
and the future is bright and the sky's the limit. But so it's not like I'm taking a vacation. I'm taking some time to focus and to look at it through a new lens and giving Elena and Tim a chance to see where they go with it, and then we're going to reconvene this fall, and that's exciting stuff. In the meantime, we got lots of great stuff. You got anything else? Are we
No,
doing a
you know what?
check-in? Are we doing segments?
Yeah, I don't. You know what? Unless I know Elena kind of got sidetracked tonight to have to be.
If she has a
behind the
segment, she can
computer.
jump.
Yes, we weren't gonna do as much as an intro tonight, but Elena does want to share just a little bit about Gopher.
No, I don't want to share about something else.
ahead.
So, okay, I can share about Gopher State really quick. So, Gopher State is May 27th, 28th, and 29th. It's down in Bloomington. And then that's a big, huge roundup that everybody can kind of find some information about. You go to gopherstate.org, and then you'll find out some information. But I also wanted to share, if nobody has anything going on this weekend, Sunday at 1 o'clock, we are doing a barbecue at Blaine Alano for Mother's Day.
Nice.
The board is putting on the event. We're going to have a bunch of food that we're grilling, and then there's going to be a fun little activity for kids to do for their moms.
You know the address of the Blaine Illinois?
No. So it's off of Central, and it's right on the border of right on the border of Ham Lake and Blaine. So what's that road up there? You'll be able to find it. You can Google it. It's Blaine Alano. So
It's
that's
off
all
of
I got.
65. Hey, you two stay there. So let's talk about the Ride for Recovery, the
Yeah.
4th annual Ride for Recovery. This
biggest
is
events.
It's one of the biggest events of the summer, and this is the event that moves 2218. This is our big event.
Yes, our financial and just to get it out there. Yes.
It's one of the funnest rides
So
I've
this is a big old expensive building, and it barely covers its cost. I'll tell you that. This event is what helps us keep it up. But it's not just like I hear a lot of people say, "Oh, it's just for biker." No. It's an all day. And next year we're talking about calling it the Ride for Recovery and big sober party,
Right.
big clean party. I don't know, name to come. It'll be better.
Yeah,
than that.
because you know what? Just to sidetrack you on that is, yes, it is called the Ride for Recovery, but it's more than that. It's more of an event than it is.
I don't
just
go
a
on the ride.
Yeah, and last year I didn't make the ride. I came here for the professional band that played twice. I was here for Romney speaking, the medallion ceremony. I was here for the silent auction and
So
the raffle. Like,
At 8:30 to 9:30 or 8 to 9:30, there will be a pancake breakfast
yes,
at St. Paul Harley. Then they kick off and they go on the ride and they get back anywhere from 2 to 3.
yep.
But
And then that's when
here-
the party starts here.
Yeah, Jitters, they might have pancakes here. They did last year I don't know. They don't know. That's to be determined. It's go to the pancake breakfast. I would suggest at St. Paul Harley. But come here at noon and go to Jitters and then go to the festival kickoff at 1:30. So there's a band, there's a barbecue. I'm going to go back to 1:30 after we get to the end. There's a guest speaker. We might even have a second speaker doing earlier in the day. We'll have the medallion meeting, the 8 p.m. featured band. Lots of stuff like that. Silent auction, always great stuff there. Drawings and stuff are all announced at 9. What's gonna happen this year is we got giant yard games, so it's gonna be kind of carnival-esque.
Yes.
And then there's a dunk tank.
Dunk tank, bags.
And so I know for a fact that the president of 2218 is going to be in there talking shit. But I heard
I'm gonna go broke.
I heard a rumor that Elena and Tim from the
be
Attitude
throwing-
for the Gratitude
be
are going to be
throwing
in the dunk tank too. I heard that rumor. Can you guys confirm or deny that?
No, it was a rumor, and that was it.
So you're not going to do that for charity?
Don't you dare.
I just did live.
Don't you dare.
It helps for the children of the future that we need to help.
Can I wear one of those giant
You can wear whatever you
blow
want.
up costumes?
Yeah, if you're going to go in the dunk tank, I don't care what you wear.
All right, I'm wearing my thong backwards.
Yeah, whatever's clever.
backwards.
You heard it first. You can dunk Elena and Tim also. They're going to be there. The whole attitude for gratitude will be in the dunk tank at some point. Thank you guys. You guys are the best.
Okay, and then I also heard that they're still looking for donations for the silent auctions. So if you
Yes.
are looking to do that, I do know somebody that's doing that. So you can reach out to me if you have anything to donate to that, and that they are looking for new items for that. And it is a donation, and all proceeds do go to 2218.
Awesome
Yeah.
sauce.
So-
Yes, 2218's Ride for Recovery is it's monumental in my recovery. I can tell you that right now. It makes Dan Jones was on here last week, kind of going into depth about it. If you still want to be a road guard, reach out to me. I'll get you in touch with the people. They'll put you through the classes, the training to become a road guard. I know we're covered for it, but we'll always take more because
If you want to help
Yes.
set up or tear down, reach out to me, and
Yep.
Tim can get you in touch with me.
safety is the most important part of this ride. And we have a safety meeting, we have a prayer, then we go on the ride. But like Ted was saying, come 1:00, it's a party. That's it. It's a party. The whole community shows up. It's not just recovery. So it's kid friendly. It's family friendly. Bring anyone and everyone that you know who likes fun. That's who should be here. So other than that, as always, you're not alone. If you're struggling, please reach out. We've all got our numbers up here. This is a networking situation. So we're not going to know if you're struggling if you don't speak up. That's what we need to do when we're hurting, struggling. You're not alone. You are worth it. You're worthy. Reach out when you're struggling. Tad just put his info up. I'm going to put my info up while we get this show rolling. Huh?
Yeah, without further ado, should we chop it up?
Chop it up.
What's up, guys?
Hola.
You guys want to introduce yourselves?
I'm Nick.
I'm Todd.
Welcome, fellas. One thing I want to tell you right now, Todd. Get that mic as close as possible. The one part, you're about good, but that mic, we've been having people feedback saying it's just quiet. So
Gotcha.
either uncomfortably speak loud or just put it right in your mouth.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, something like that.
Elena, can you hear me?
Oh, all right. Well, Todd, hey, how you doing today, Todd? Check in with us.
I'm
Talk
doing
to us.
fantastic. I sound okay?
Check, check, check. So, boys, I know Elena reached out to you. I've got some questions for you, but I know she reached out to you guys, and if you read that long message, it asked you guys to maybe come here with a topic or two that you might be interested in sharing about. So, Todd, let's start with you. Let's get out. What do you want to talk about?
All right. Well, I did only throw out one topic.
It's okay.
But I can always come up with more because I can always talk about
Oh,
recovery.
I can
Give me
keep you
2
boys
seconds,
talking
right?
all night.
And actually, it was the topic just came up because I was talking to another person in recovery just the other day, and it hit me. I think it's forgiving yourself for things you've done during active addiction. I think a lot of people have a hard time with forgiving themselves. We go through our men's process and we forgive everybody else, but sometimes we forget to really work on ourselves and forgive ourselves for what we've done. So that's the topic I want to go with.
Forgiving yourself. Say that again. Say it again. The topic. I know you did.
Yep.
Just repeat it again.
Pretty much forgiving yourself for what you did in active addiction.
Okay.
Because I think people hold on to a lot of stuff that they've done. We're able to forgive a lot of other people. We're able to make amends. We're able to take care of everything other than us. However,
What I'm going to start with you bringing that topic up is, why did you choose that topic?
2 reasons. One, I was actually just talking to another sponsee of mine about this.
Okay.
He was struggling with that a little bit.
They were struggling with
He
it,
was.
or
He
okay?
was. Nope.
Is this something that you've experienced?
The funny thing is, it's my story on this is I didn't realize I needed to forgive myself until I was probably, I think, 7 months sober.
Oh, really?
I was, I was actually coming home from my very last court case from I had a couple of DWIs that kind of got me sober, and the last one that I had, I was in court and I pretty egregious DWIs. I was expecting, quite a bit of punishment. And to make a long story short, is I didn't get much of a punishment at all.
Oh.
And so, I left court that day. and I was confused because I think I was expecting to get a lot more than
Right.
what happened. And as I'm driving home from Duluth, because I was up in Duluth for court, you know, I was talking to my sister on the way home, and you know, I was like, I feel dirty in a way. You know, it's like I should have. You know,
I feel like you got over on
right,
something. Yeah,
right.
yeah.
You know, I did all this horrible crap, and I should be paying for something a little bit better, you know, or more. And you know, after a long talk with her, she's like, you know, have you forgiven yourself? And instant tears. You know,
Is she in recovery?
no,
Okay.
no, but it was, you know, for 7 months I've been doing the next right thing. I've been going to meetings. I had a sponsor. I was, you know, doing everything I was supposed to do for 7 straight months, but I never once considered myself. And once I kind of realized that, you know, it made my life a little bit easier.
Okay.
It made me start to kind of look at myself a little bit differently. And that's when I was able to talk to my sponsee just the other day, is you know, he was kind of struggling with this. And I said, look, you know, we all did a lot of bad things in active addiction, right? But sober, we're good people.
Right.
You know, we are, you know, 99% of the people that I know in recovery are wonderful people. And we would never do something like that sober.
Right.
I said, and it's not a cop-out to say it was the addiction that did it. However, we wouldn't have done that without the addiction.
Exactly. So now with your sponsee, I mean, so is he struggling? We don't have, you know, anonymity is huge. We're going to
Right.
protect who you're speaking of. Just it's a sponsee. So I imagine you guys are working steps, and he just says like, Todd, what about me? Or you say, hey, what about you? How does that even come up? Like,
You know, I think it starts with, you know, talking about shame. You know, shame I think is huge for, you know, again, for a lot of us. And, you know, that feeling of shame, that feeling of guilt, I don't think goes away as easily until you can forgive yourself.
right?
Right?
Oh,
You know,
I
you
agree.
Carry,
yeah.
You carry it for a lot of reasons, but I think you can get rid of a big majority of it if you do learn to forgive yourself.
Now, correct me if I'm wrong, but would you agree that, you know, doing a thorough fourth step and a fifth step, and then, you know, giving that hour up and then speaking, you know, praying, do you think that relieves the majority of, if you do a thorough fourth and fifth, that relieves a lot of the shame for the majority of our lot?
I believe so. I think it does. But I think there's still work daily that needs to be done. Obviously, you know, it's 4 step is not a one and done, right? It's you move into a 10th step and you're doing that every single day.
Yeah.
So in reality, I mean, yeah, I think it does take a huge burden there, but it doesn't end. You know, you
I'm
need
going somewhere with this, and the reason I asked
Yeah.
it that way was, so let's say, you know, you're working with someone or yourself, you get through these steps, you get, you know, and you're still feeling you're still feeling some guilt or some hatred or whatever towards yourself about your past. And it is something that you went over in your fourth step. Is that what you would say? Is it just comes down to you not forgiving yourself over it? And if it is, like, how would you help guide a sponsee through that? You know, just like, let's just use the most extreme. Hey, I murdered someone while drunk driving. I ran someone over. I killed a kid. You know, I'm going extreme here. I shared about it. I went through it here and still just beating myself up over it. What's your suggestion to someone who's going through some stuff like that?
Well, I guess it depends on the you know. How
Yeah, I
extreme
mean, and
it
I went
was.
really extreme there.
Right,
But
yeah,
like, I mean, what do you? I don't know. We all have our own. Because I imagine, I can't imagine. But with your sponsee going through this, I'm trying to get around to the question the right way. Is he feeling some shame over something he hasn't thoroughly fourth, fifth over?
No, I think it's for right now because he's fairly early in recovery.
Okay.
I think it's just a general
Right.
guilt and shame. You know, we're getting close to that 4th step, so he hasn't really gotten too
The
detailed yet.
cloud cleared,
the-
and he's realizing all this shit
Yeah,
that
it's
yeah.
the thing that I think all of us do in that
Yeah.
first, you know, 30, 60, 90 days where you start looking at everything that you've done in the past, and it's kind of overwhelming. You know, when you're sober and you can start to take a look at that stuff,
Right.
then it's like, holy shit, look what,
Yeah.
look what I've done. You
Well,
know?
they talk about we walk in here like not on a winning streak, so you're in here for usually you found some type of bottom, and once that cloud does clear, you know you are riding that pink cloud, you're riding that high of this, you know, I'm finally clean and clear, but then this guilt that drives a lot of people to go back.
Right.
Can I get in on this?
Yeah, bro, interrupt, get in here.
So because Todd is my sponsor and he loves to bring up things that make me uncomfortable.
It's good for you. It helps you grow.
We were,
Getting you out of your comfort zone,
I
Nick.
was just in a meeting last week, and I think it was on, what was it on? Fourth step, fifth step?
What's your name again? Say, tell the audience.
Oh, I'm Nick.
Hey, Nick.
I think it was we were on the fourth step in the meeting, and no, it wasn't. It was the ninth step, and about making amends. And then on the back half of that is except when to do so would injure them or others. And I don't know about the rest of you guys, but I got one or two things on that. On the would injure them or others, and you know, I shared in the meeting that it kind of haunts me a little bit. And you know, as I'm sitting here listening to everybody talk, I'm kind of thinking that forgiving myself for forgiving myself for the things that I can make amends for is a little bit easier because I think I can approach them. You know, I can.
Is it like righting a wrong?
Yeah, you know what I mean. I can right that wrong to the best of my ability, but then you know, there's a couple of things where you know, as I'm listening, I'm thinking it's more of a process. It's more of, you know, just like sometimes when we make amends with people, they need to see some sobriety time under my belt. When I make amends with people, I need to see some sobriety time on myself before. You know, not that I'm convinced. I mean, I'm feeling pretty convinced at this point, but just that I need to, you know, I don't know. Maybe it's just time, and maybe I need to have some time living a good life to be able to look back and say, okay, I can, you know, maybe I can forgive myself for some of the just the torture that I put myself through for years, and the trail of wreckage that I left behind. But
So with what he brought up was guilt and shame. And I'm just recapping it for anyone who may have started listening a little late. Is Todd brought up a sponsee came to him and he's concerned about this, you know, this guilt's building up. Now he hasn't been through his fourth step, fifth step, which I guess that was what I was trying to key into. Is do you believe like that is the process of the point of recovery where the majority of that will be a person can let it go then? Or do you think it's just more with over time?
I think it's both. I think that fourth and fifth step gets a huge chunk of it, right? It gets a big chunk of it where you can take a deep breath, and then it's kind of
Right.
daily working on some things.
So like Nick, then have you been through your steps or like?
Yeah.
Okay, so then what I'm hearing you share is like it sounds like you maybe still have some things, or where are you at with this? How do you feel? And we're gonna get, you know what, real quick, how long have you been doing this? How long you been clean?
How long have I been in recovery?
In recovery, successfully.
Yeah, actually, my sober date is May 26th of 2018, so I'm just coming up on 4 years here very soon.
Hell yeah.
But I have today.
my sober date is, what is it? You're my sponsor. You
No, don't work that way. You should know the second you. No, I'm joking.
January 10th, 2021. So
Okay.
14, 15 months.
Awesome sauce.
And how do you guys know each other?
Sponsors.
my sponsor.
All right. We're gonna get into that. I already got a question from someone about your guys' relationship, but I want to keep going on this.
Yeah, in answer to your question, no,
Yeah.
I think that I think the fourth and fifth, I did as thorough and as honest as a fourth step as I think anybody can do. I was I spent a lot of time on it, and you know, going into it, my overall goal in it wasn't to try to remember everything I've done, but to be as honest and thorough as I possibly could. And you know, I believe that I accomplished that, and because after my fifth step, you know, everybody tells you, you know, once you do your fourth and fifth, man, like you hit
Right.
that next
Yeah.
level.
I
you
heard.
know?
Yeah. I heard
And-
all sorts of things like that.
Yeah, and I really did hit that next level. Like it wasn't, you know, I didn't have a, you know, dramatic spiritual experience like right that moment, but it really did turn a page in my recovery where, you know, it was like before the fourth and fifth step, I was focusing on me and just staying sober for today and doing the things that I needed to do to take care of myself. And then after that fourth and fifth step, it started to become about the newcomer and about helping other people. And
Right. Giving back. I think someone explained the first certain part of the steps are
Yeah.
for this, the next set or that, the rest is for giving back.
Yeah, it was like now that I have this, the
Right.
only way to keep it is to give it away. And my focus just completely shifted, much to my consternation.
The consternation.
Oh,
Oh, you
yeah.
just threw
What's your
another
word
word
for
out
that,
there.
Nick? What's
Oh.
your word for that anyway?
Bullshit. Yeah, everything was bullshit.
So, I have some experience like with this I want to share about, but Tad, I want to hear from you about it. Like, you got some time now under your belt. Like, is there still some shame and guilt you have from back with your days before you've gotten the time you have now that still affect you?
I don't know if there's shame and guilt. Other people try and put that on me, and there's a relationship. You have certain relationships, whether it be family or people who've been around you a lot, or people who watch you come up in the program for 4 or 5 years and have been, rooting for you, but they do little digs and they try and make you
Oh,
feel
yeah.
guilty, or they'll bring things up like, you're bipolar.
Oh,
And
little jabs.
Try and well, yeah, and
And not even jabs, maybe just
well, not everyone's recovered
yep.
or
yep,
in
yep,
recovery
yep.
or living their best life. And some people, that it's whatever. Everyone's in recovery. I'm not going to expect my mom who hasn't been to therapy for
Right.
My mom has lived a life,
Right.
and was traumatized from the time she was 3 all the way till now. It's 60 almost, and I'm not going to expect her.
But no, do you think this is true to say this much that like there are things people can say to you that would
Trigger
have,
me, yeah.
that would have caused shame and guilt before, but because of the tools
Yeah.
you got now
And-
today, you
and-
can let it go.
Sometimes, do you remember? You could attest to this. Do you remember how long conversations used to eat me up?
Yep.
And if you talk to my sister, anyone in my life before, they'd tell you that wasn't shit.
Yeah.
It
yeah,
was months, years,
Yes.
and I can get over something in like 5 minutes now. If something bugs
it's a
me,
work in progress.
if something bugs me for a day or two, that usually means something's wrong.
Right.
With my values, my program, or how I'm accepting other people.
Right.
And I mean, yeah, I had a lot of shame, but that's the world I grew up in. I grew up with people telling me I should be ashamed. I grew up with people putting me down and making me feel that way. And as addicts, that's pretty common. It's
Yeah,
pretty
I
common.
get- yep.
You should be ashamed of what you did. It's
Right.
a moral
That's
failing.
society says that.
Yes.
I mean-
that's why this show was started.
Right.
That's
You're
why
right.
I'm the
Nope.
president of 2218. That's why I advocate. That's why I'm a peer recovery specialist. That's why in the bar industry, I'm trying to get formulated where every bar has to have a peer recovery specialist. Another lofty goal of mine,
There you go.
because it's an industry touring with addicts. And that's why, because we're misunderstood. And there's a lot of shame that people tell us. And it's great that we're getting all these TV shows that are about recovery, but also they shame us too.
Well, yeah.
And-
it's putting a spotlight.
It's
on
a
things,
joke to be an AA. If you watch these shows, they make it like it's a big joke. Mom, I love Mom to death, but they make fun of us.
but- Well, you know
And-
what?
So
Go ahead,
society
go ahead.
shames
Yep.
us, and so no, I don't have that. What I do have to fight is my ego. I have to fight because I might be the only example of recovery you see.
There you go.
And if I get offended when you say this stuff to me and Mom's in that and go on these tangents,
then the guy who's never been
Ah,
into recovery
all,
says,
all of a
"Dad, he's
sudden,
in recovery.
all
Is that what that
addicts
looks like?"
and
Yeah.
alcoholics in recovery
are all of a sudden
are
you.
hotheads.
Yes,
They're
yes.
all asshole, whatever. And so, I mean, and it's just not that. Like, I heard you guys talking in there. We are some of the most talented, nice people ever. And my boss said something. One of my bosses said something to me once. He was like, the thing about addicts in recovery is they work harder because they have something to prove. And most of the time it's to themselves. And that's proven. So, like, I still have shit to prove. I still feel that. And, as people have compared me to certain people with high drives, high profile people, and that's a big compliment. And I took it as that. But you can use it for good or bad, to your detriment. Everyone in this room that knows me, you two, has seen me overwork on service work, whether it be the podcast here at Club, to my detriment, to where I'm not spending time with my family, my friends. I'm not taking care of myself, and that's because I'm passionate about this shit. But the shame, as soon as I started loving myself, and I don't know what did it, I'll credit working the steps and being honest and hanging out with old timers for the first year until I found my people, and then I found people who love me. I still have
For you.
shame
Yeah.
sometimes with my significant other. I'm afraid I have this underlying fear, and it has nothing to do with her because I love her and she is awesome. that she's gonna find out who I really am, because that's what I learned. Those were
Yeah,
my
that's a
values as a
fear.
kid.
That-
As a
yeah,
kid,
that's a fear.
my value, because I was moved around. Mom had new boyfriends all the time. Dad had new girlfriends. We moved,
Right.
and so new people took care of me. Was switching daycare and stuff. So every time I'd get close to someone, they'd leave and I thought it was
Fear of
because they found
abandonment.
out
Yeah.
who I really was. So I
Well,
don't
with
know.
this, no. Here's another question towards all this, and like we went deep into it, but character defects, like
I don't have any.
yeah. I know I'm making a stretch here, like feeling like someone. I know you just brought it up as an example or something that your sponsee brought to you, but someone who's constantly feeling shameful. Is that a character defect in your eyes?
Well, I guess I wouldn't consider it a defect. For me, a defect is, your ego, your selfishness, things along that line. I think shame and guilt are on a whole different plateau. No, I wouldn't consider those defects.
Now, here's an example of shame that was brought up, and we had in the last 2 weeks, we had 3 people from my home group on this show, from this men's meeting. And a guy brought this up, and I felt this shame and this guilt. So, we've all experienced legal issues. Now, I never had a problem being carted away in the back of a cop car, nor did I give 2 shits who saw me, or being shuckled away up to the judge in my oranges with the handcuffs on. But walking into an AA club or an Alno, like, shit, someone might see me.
Yeah.
What's that?
Shame.
Why? Why? You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Where the hell does that come from? What is that? Is that a defect of mine? That's why I was circling it into, like, why is it shameful to walk into a place, save my life, versus me not giving 2 shits who sees me getting linked up into cuffs, or walking in front of a judge? I don't hold my head low in shame or guilt of that.
Because of the way society has pitched it to us. That's what I think.
And that's
Like what I was getting to.
like
with
you
the
were saying, yeah,
shows
there's
and-
shows making light of AA or whatever the case.
And I think we're all about the same age here, right, guys? I'm
You guys are in your
37.
20s?
I am.
I'm slightly older than you guys.
But we all
Yeah,
grew
we're all
up.
about
We
the
all
same.
grew up with Eminem being cool, the NWO, and all that type of stuff. The the Attitude Era, and so that all hangs with us because that's what the '90s and early 2000s were. The '80s was kind of like that too, I'm guessing.
You're trying to
Shots were fired.
Don't
Shots
worry,
were
I'm the
fired.
oldest one here. I think you're okay.
You were born in the 70s?
1970. Yeah, I'm 51.
Oh shit, you are older than me. Sweet.
Dude, you look like the youngest guy here too.
Yeah,
Thank you,
he
thank
looks
you
like
very much.
down here.
Hey, if you want a strong suggestion for
guy.
sobriety, you'll look really young like me, and
Shave your head.
yeah, exactly.
yeah.
Well, God took my hair, but that's okay.
Yeah. Well, then I mean, and that's a great topic. Like, so what was the outcome with your sponsee that was struggling with this?
Not really a solid outcome right now. Just all I can express to him is what I've expressed to other sponsees and what I've done myself, and that's to, I think daily affirmations can be tough for some people. That I'm good enough, I'm strong enough, and gosh darn it, people like me type of thing.
And that's
Some people
Pat.
some people have a real hard time with that daily affirmation thing, right? But you can do things similar to that. You can look at yourself in the mirror and be proud of yourself. I just try and teach gratitude. Be grateful for every little thing that you
Right.
have, because the more grateful I am, the more humble I become. The more humble I am, the more grateful I become, and it's kind of a cool little circle that I can kind of
Right.
develop. But I just try and teach gratitude, and just keep reaffirming to these people that you are a good person. You would never do some of the stuff you've done in the past sober, most
Right.
likely.
I think a lot of that, being spiritually fit, finding your higher power, or, finding something to be able to truly give it over to and get it off your plate.
Yep.
Because some of the stuff, like I was saying, I have experience with this, and some of that shame and guilt, no matter how much I talk about it, pray about it, I've had to just let it go. That's it. Just everyone's let it go might look different. Me is I do my best to forget about it. There's no power it can hold over me today if I don't give it the power. So I do my best not to give it that power, to let it fester in my mind, act out on it, keep talking about it if it's not going to change it. If I can't do something about it right now, move on. Like we're going to do with this topic. So,
We had a listener say, you know, the fear of being judged is part of what that is too, and I think so in some aspects. Yes, we all have fear of being judged, especially when we come in the room. But we've been judged. Most of us have criminal records. We've literally been judged. Most of us have been judged by our family and by society.
Right.
That's a thing. And like I was saying to you, and I don't know if you guys can attest, once you go through the steps and you get some self-forgiveness like they were talking about, you start to love yourself. And I'm not one who says like, because I struggle with my ego because for so many years it was either I hated myself and I wanted to die, or I'm the fucking shit. I'm the greatest thing.
Right.
So like it's hard, and it's not a warm fuzzy. I'm super great, Tad. That's
All
not.
in one day, yeah.
You know, that's not what loving myself means. What I mean by loving myself, sometimes it's just I can look at myself and be like, "That's okay. You're going to work today.
right.
You had a really bad day. You called Tim, you called Elena, you talked it through, but guess what? You got dressed, you combed your hair, you went to work, you were nice to your girlfriend,
Right.
you fed your cat, and
It can be as simple as the little accomplishments that some might just overlook. That
Yeah.
might think it's that's normal. No. like-
sometimes just showing up and being okay
Yes.
is okay.
Yes.
And sometimes admitting that you're not okay. That's something I couldn't do till I fully liked myself either. It was very hard for me to say when I wasn't okay until everything was on fire and I was ready to die.
Yeah, that's something that I've been working on a lot. You know, when I was especially in probably the first 6-7 months, I didn't even know if I was okay or not until literally like fucking everything around me is burning and I'm like, no, I'm melting. Right? And it's just been a slow process where it's like, all right, well, you know, I recognize this cue, or like even if it's something simple like my face is getting hot, or
Right.
just little things. Like if I just feel like something's off, I now will take the time to just, even if it's just a couple minutes or something, just take the time and go, okay, what's going on? Sometimes it's nothing. Most of the time it's something. And usually the something that it is like 3 days from now, or some third party abstract
Worrying
thing
about
going on.
something you
Yeah.
have no
Well-
control over.
Right. Usually it's something I don't have control over. I mean, I have control over everything, but other than that,
I have a quick
yeah,
anecdote.
obviously, I mean, that's why I make the perfect addict.
Hell yeah. Hey, at least you're good at something.
You know, I have many addictive talents that have served me nothing.
Yes. But
If I
but
told you guys I am a horrible planner. My plans are horrible, all of them. So I usually leave the planning up to God or my spouse.
so like if we wanted to have a successful event, we could ask you for your advice and do the opposite, and by that it would be great.
You would ask me for my advice, and I'd say you should ask Todd.
But we'd ask you and just do the opposite.
That's good.
I had a quick anecdote, then I had a question for everyone. So really, like, you know, you were talking about emotions and all that stuff. You guys might think this is funny, or you might be able to relate. The first time I was happy, when I was clean, genuinely happy, I thought I was having a fucking anxiety attack. Like, for real. I think I talked to Elena about this at one point. When it was like within my 9 months, and like I felt genuine happiness. I was really happy, and it wasn't for a superficial reason. It wasn't me pretending to be happy. It was just like I'm okay. And I thought I was having a fucking anxiety attack because it was so intense.
Yeah, Dad, I have kind of a similar story. I don't think I thought I was having an anxiety attack, but I remember I was probably, I don't know, 6 months sober or something like that. And I remember being outside going for a walk, and noticing how green the leaves were and how blue the sky was. And it was in July, I don't know, something like that. And I couldn't believe how colorful things were. And it took me a second to realize that, holy shit, I've been walking around this gray life for 25 years, you know, and not that I wasn't noticing just nature. I wasn't noticing everything about
Right.
nature. And it was weird. It was like, kind of like you said, but it was surreal.
Yeah. I was like, am I okay?
Right. And then pride attack, Jeff. Yeah.
I mean, so what? When you guys are going through struggles now, let's go to now, or maybe if a sponsee comes to you and you're just struggling, what's your go-tos? We got gratitude lists. We got servant. What's your guys' go-tos to help you feel better or help someone else?
I'm gonna put
Yes.
Nick on the spot because he's now a new sponsor and he just started sponsoring.
Yes, Nick. Nick, what are your go-tos?
So what? Wait, what do you mean with your Or you follow the question? What's it? Go ahead.
Even though Todd knows this is bullshit, probably my biggest go-to now is probably prayer.
Oh,
I
that's
think
not bullshit.
well, it's just what I say to everything that I don't like at first.
Yes.
It's a good habit
For those
to
of
get
you
into.
guys who don't know me, whenever Todd would recommend that I would do something, I would say that's bullshit, and then I would do it. And so far, that works out pretty good. Not the bullshit part so much as doing it, but I check in with God. I don't have spiritually, my relationship with God is good. I just check in with him. I think the biggest thing is that I've just really gotten accustomed to paying attention to, I don't know, signs, if you be, around me. So when I check in with God, I actually expect a response because experience has showed me that I'll get one, for the most part. So when I'm struggling or when I'm off about something, you know what I mean? I go and I ask God for guidance, and I generally get it, through the group, through my sponsor, through the network. Usually through the network I got around me. Sometimes it's little things. I mean, sometimes it's just in almost like an epiphany where like an emotional sweep over me, and all of a sudden I'll have an answer that it's not humanly possible for me to come up with an answer to a situation. I just all from the beginning of my recovery until now, there's just been so many little milestones little markers where it literally was like God was just taking me by the hand and just said, just put your foot in front of the next one. That's all you gotta do. You don't have to do anything more than that. Just put one foot in front of the other. And so I've gotten very comfortable going to God about it first. You know what I mean? Like I start there and then work my way down. I also have coping strategies too. One of my coping strategies is when I don't know what to do, I just stop. Just don't do anything. Stop the bleeding. You know what I mean? Like because left up to my devices, it's scramble to fix, it's scramble to mess it up, or just stop. Just don't do anything until you know what to do next. And sometimes the next thing to do is nothing. To be honest with you.
Right.
Right.
Sometimes you just got to sit there for a minute, and a lot of times, sometimes I just need sleep, to be honest with you, or food. It turns out I have to eat and sleep, and
All those things you have to remember to do.
they seem. There's millions of people out in the world who seem to do those things without a second thought. But sometimes,
Well, you go so long with the only thing you're worrying about is that next one.
Yeah.
It happens. It happens.
I forget to eat sometimes.
I
get
never
busy,
forget
yeah.
to eat. I'm a big boy, but
It's been a recent problem for me.
Yeah, you run yourself ragged though. You're busy, and then before you know it, you're like, "Why am I so weak and tired?"
yeah.
You got to remember that halt, right? Was that
Yeah, halt,
hungry, angry, lonely, tired?
Yes, or KISS. All those little anagrams.
Yeah, one of the things, especially that I've been working on with my sponsee, is that it's you go to the meetings and you're interacting with other sober people and you're diving into the big book and you're diving into the literature, and the process is for most people the process is a little bit slower than they would like it. And the truth is the work is done in the quiet times. The work is done. The work isn't done in the meeting. Most of the work is done at home or in your place of quiet, and it just takes a while to build that quiet up, whatever that may be. Whether it's, for me, it started with morning readings, 24 hours a day, and daily reflections. I do those every morning, and when I started doing those, there'd be a day or two that I would miss it, and I could feel like my whole equilibrium was off balance just by not doing those simple things. And so it takes a while to build. It took a while for me to build my recovery, area, my space, and so and I always go back there. That's where my work is done, in quiet, you know, like when it, you know, with the next person I'm going to make amends to, or how I'm going to approach the next situation. You know, I always confer with God, and I talk to my sponsor, and I talk to other people that, you know, that I trust that are in my network. But at the end of the day, you know, the work in my heart's done in quiet. You know what I mean? Sometimes I don't know. Sometimes it's just sitting at home. Sometimes it takes a couple days. Sometimes it takes a couple minutes.
You got some tools now,
Yeah.
is what you're saying, and you're fine tuning them, seeing what works best for you specifically.
Spiritual tools, yeah.
There you go. Todd, do you remember the question?
No, because Nick's long rambling dissertation kind of.
Oh, I got that was pretty coherent.
No, it was good.
Coping tools, or
this-
what
the
was it?
specific one? It was what was the specific?
What are some of your go-tos when you're having a hard
Go-tos.
time, or your sponsor's having a hard time? Your go-tos.
That's what it was. You know, it's funny because I was.
I don't think you're rambling.
No, I'm
You were
just-
coherent.
Hey,
You're
if I don't
good.
give Nick shit,
There we go.
That's my job as a sponsor.
I heard him say bullshit, so whatever.
Well, yeah, exactly. He's come a long way. He needs to give some shit back. But,
There we go.
you know, for me, you know, I was just and funny the same sponsor I was just talking to about with the shame and guilt, as we were just talking about different things to do throughout the day.
Get up on your mics, guys.
Structure is so important for us in recovery, I think. And, you know, I think when I went to treatment, I remember there was probably 15 different tools that I was given that I thought I was going to incorporate into my day. You know, as you wake up and you make your bed, and then you
Right.
you read your 24-hour book, and then you meditate, and then you do
Routine.
yoga, and then you do this and you do this and this until the end of the day. And of course, I didn't have a job when I first got out of treatment, so I could do a lot of those things. And all of
Right,
a sudden,
right.
life gets lifey, and you get a job, and now you're doing this and doing that, and it's like, God, I can't get all these things in one day, right?
Right.
So you kind of
Yeah.
it slows down. It becomes 2 or 3 things, but really. Structure and prayer is probably my biggest thing that I'll go to, and praying for other people. I can't pray for myself because that just brings me back to ego. So if I'm in trouble with anything, praying for other people always makes things better.
Yeah, I praying for other people. I'd be so cautious in early recovery because that's when I was, my sponsor said, pray, Tim. You got to pray. Whether you believe in something or not, pray. You can't pray wrong. Close your eyes,
Yeah.
do whatever you need, start talking to someone. So I used to pray for God to take a break. I did. I'd be like, all right, look, man, I'm sure everyone's asking for some shit out of you.
Yeah.
Go take a 5. Like, I don't know. But then that was my ego thinking, all right, good. I gave him one. Now he owes me one. Like, serious. That's what you want to talk about, a warped brain. I was like, all right, bro, you take yourself a break, man. You deserve it. You're helping everyone out.
Come
with their
back and hit me
prayers.
with that Harley.
Yes, I did you a favor, homie. Like, that's how my brain worked. But whatever. That's right. So,
What about you, Tim? What are some of your go-tos?
there's lots. Dive into work. I can hop on a motorcycle, go fishing, activities, things, shaking and moving. That simple. I can get my mind out of it. I think if I had the question right? But if I got a struggle happening,
Yeah.
And if
interrupt
anything-
myself.
If anything, my sponsor said, don't sit in your own shit. Right?
Yeah. Oh no, I can't.
You
now.
got to go do something. Whether
Yeah,
it's taking
I
a
just
walk or
interrupt my
reading a book,
thoughts.
you got to do something to get yourself out of that.
We've brought this up on the show before, and that was like, I think after dissect, it's like I interrupt myself just any way I can. I was just talking to Jess about that tonight too. It's like pull my head somewhere else. That's it. I'll make myself start thinking about some dumb shit, and before I know it, I'm not thinking about whatever the issue was. Especially if it's something I have no control over right now. That's the biggest thing.
You know,
Are
one
we-
of the things, now that you guys are talking about, some people have made fun of my maturity level for watching shows like Family Guy, and,
That's their problem.
that's literally one of my go-tos, because when I turn it on, literally my brain just, like, kind of shuts down a little.
Bro,
It
that-
stops
hey, man.
overthinking, and,
You can ask anyone on this show, man. You'll catch me. You know where Tim's at. If he's not with someone doing something, he's watching. He's watching Rick and Morty.
Yeah.
He's watching all that. Yeah, dude. That's my. There's a difference, and we talked about this in the earlier shows. There's a difference between isolating and some self care, and me sitting in front of the shit can watching, or the boob tube. That's for me. That's some self care. I can escape into that. I know when it's unhealthy. We know when we're being unhealthy now. Because once you get healthy, you know what you're doing when you're unhealthy. And only you're going to know that.
Yeah, that's one of my big focuses this year is self-care, kind of learning balance, because I'm, you know, of course I'm an addict. Like the other day I went to Costco and I had to buy, I have these shorts that I got at Costco last year, and I saw another color, so I had to have all of them. Of the who the hell has the same kind of?
So you got the same outfit, just in different, like 10
Every-
different
every
colors.
color, yeah.
Yeah,
I'm
there's
not
not-
gonna wear it, but I do have it.
Yeah.
You got
I might wear it
matching
once.
sunglasses
I'm
and
actually wearing
shoes?
the black ones now.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah,
anyway,
I
what
like
do you-
Filling that void with shorts from Costco, aren't
Yes, you know, but
Hey.
it's just like, yeah, self-care is kind of.
Well, here's a quick piece of advice for you: is moving forward. Now that I know you haven't not listened to this show, check in for the first 15 minutes moving forward, and you'll maybe catch a segment called Self Care with Elena, and she gives you some advice about self care every week for the most part. But when we have big time guests like you guys, we just skip it sometimes.
Time. Woo, there's that ego. Don't pump it up now.
We just thought you'd need more time to explain your recovery.
Nah.
Oh, we're not trying to hate
So,
on
Tad,
people.
what's your go-to when shit comes up, when life's showing up not in the best
Well,
of ways?
I mean, since we're on schedule, I'll try and make this 2 minutes or less because there's a huge segment coming up in 2 minutes.
I've never been on schedule for anything.
I know we never are here either. We never are here. We could be if I don't ramble on. Doubtful, but I have a few go-to things. Like I'll spend time playing with my cat a lot because that helps me clear my head. She's a therapy cat, even though she's not certified, but that's what she is. That cat saved my life. Sometimes I'll just shoot some hoops, play video games. That's what I mean. On the PlayStation, I'll shoot hoops. I don't actually shoot hoops anymore. Or play Madden, listen to podcasts, or talk it over with my significant other. Her and I have some great conversations about stuff. And sometimes I have to call outside people. And, you know, like I recently had a thing happen. And at midnight, probably the first time in like 3 years, I posted on Facebook that I was struggling. And I haven't done that in a while. So
Yeah,
I got
you did.
I
Yeah,
got
and
calls
what
at
happened?
6:30 in the morning. I got calls at 7:30. I got calls all day, and I was still getting calls up until, well, no, I got a call today too. And so that was Monday night. But I didn't know what to do, and I was very vague. And all I said is like, I'm struggling right now. Some things don't align with my values, and I'm thinking about giving up. Well, in hindsight, that might have looked like in the past some things like that. I'm not thinking about taking my life, nor am I thinking about using. Two of the furthest things from my mind. But I was thinking about ultimately if I stopped doing certain things in my life, that'd be great. I could spend more time with my kids and my family. And, you know, maybe that day comes. Right now, my life is so situated where I do spend a lot of time doing service work and helping people because it's a passion and it's what I believe I need and the world needs. But, you know, so I got to recheck who my people are because that changes. And if you're busy all the time and you're not talking to your people, you don't know. And your people can change. My people, every 6 months, it seems like my people have changed. Some of my people either are my original people, they aren't alive, or they don't come to this club anymore because they've moved. Things like that. People, and that's okay. That's how it is. So it was a good experience for me. I don't make a habit of doing that. And, you know, I had people, I have people like Keith Campbell. And if I don't say your name, it's not because whatever. Keith, I know, won't care. Keith reached out to me in 2 minutes. And Keith and I are tight, but we don't have to see each other.
Right.
I won't probably run into Keith. Maybe I'll run into him at the ride, and then I won't run into him for another 6 months or all year. But we're still that tight like we were when he was a speaker at New Way and checking in with me, or when he was talking to me every other week when I was out there, and he was trying to get me to get back. You know, and so some people are still around and still care about you. And then I have people like Mr. Bob, who called me at 7:30 in the morning to make sure I was okay. Mm-hmm. And, you know, you guys who checked in on me and whatnot. Current people in and my best friend, Chris, who's in a different form of recovery than we are. He's in a harm reduction model. He's still my best friend. That's okay. He smokes pot. He drinks. He's not on heroin, and he's not dying every day anymore. Right. And that's his choice. That's his harm reduction model.
That's his path.
And it works for him. It couldn't work for me, but I'm not going to knock him for that. And he called me and we talked, and we had a heart to heart. I had a talk with the former vice president that night too, my friend Eric Mitchell, and so I got to check in with where people are at with me and where I was at, because I didn't know. That's something when you focus a lot of your time helping other people, you get lost. And even though I think I'm taking Tad time, sometimes playing video games and listening to sports podcasts doesn't fucking do it for me. I need something more spiritual for me to fill my cup up. Like I share that I don't get my cup filled a lot when I come to meetings here, because it's take. Tad, we need you to do this. Tad, we need this. And when you set that precedent, everything's someone else's emergency. And if you can't walk in a building and these are because I didn't set boundaries. You know how it was. Same reason I had to leave Phoenix. So, I mean, it was pretty great. I rambled once again. I think I'm just excited to be on the show because it's been a month and a half. I'm sorry if I'm stealing your guys' thunder.
Good.
We have a segment to get into. It's one of the best segments we do on this show.
Want to talk about ego? Oh,
It is my favorite. It is from this great gentleman, the man from the great north, the inspirational wisdom. He's not quite young. He's not quite old. He might not all be there, but he's right here, right now. Tidbits with Timmy. Yeah. What do you got for us today?
Today I showed up late for work. The boss yelled. He said, "You should have been here at 8:30." I replied, "Why? What happens at 8:30?"
Did you hear about the Italian chef who died?
Uh,
He passed away.
he passed away. Why did the orange lose the race? It ran out of juice. Ah, shit. All right, you know what?
Two muffins were sitting in an oven. One turned to the other and said, "Wow, it's pretty hot in here." The other one shouted, "Wow, a talking muffin."
Why are fish so smart?
Why?
They live in schools.
Oh my God.
What did the sink say to the toilet? "You look flushed." All right. I'll
He's
wrap
got
it.
one. You got one, don't you?
Come on.
Why do they call seagulls seagulls?
Why?
Because if they lived in bays, they'd be bagels.
True that.
Nice.
I got one, and then we'll quit hijacking.
Go ahead.
I sold my vacuum the other day. All it was doing was collecting dust.
Nice. Nice. Where do boats go when they're sick? To the dock.
Do you know what Forrest Gump's email password is?
Yes.
What? One Forrest one. He can't even say it.
One, Forrest, one. All right, man. Here we go. Let's get back to serious. Reel it in. This week, it'll be brief, as always, because that's what it is. Tidbits. I do deal with shit every day, okay? But listen, I have problems every day, but problems don't have me. We've been sharing about this. We've been talking about this. In one form or another, when shit shows up, how much are you going to let it control you? Life is going to show up. No matter what you do, no matter how clean you get, how recovered you are, unless you're a hermit sitting in a corner in a dark cave, never interacting with any part of life, something's going to happen.
Say it, Todd.
Problems will happen.
Say it. Say it,
How do
Todd.
you want to have it show up?
Say it, Todd.
You mean when life gets lifey?
When
That's
life
the
gets
way
lifey,
Yeah.
problems are
hated
going to
that
show
for
up.
like
Are you
6
going to let
months.
the problem own you? Are you going to let the problem run your day to day? It's on you. You are the creator of your own happiness. You are the one who's in control of how you want to deal with situations that arrive every day. We work on ourselves. Tad alluded to it earlier. Not everyone else is on a self-help program. Don't fool yourself. This is all self-help that we're doing, these 12-step programs. We're bettering ourselves. Not everyone's doing that, and we're surrounded with a lot of people in life that aren't. So problems in life show up. How are you going to act when that happens? And that
And that
Was
was Tidbits
with
with Timmy.
Amy. Back to your regularly scheduled program.
Hey, let's get into that. When life gets what?
Life gets lifey.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah.
I like that.
When life
You
gets
should
lifey.
make that
All
a
right,
T-shirt.
So now, that one topic brought us to the mid. Did you come with any topics, young man?
I did.
Well, let's hear about it.
I was, and it's something that I've, kind of been touching base with my sponsee about is, willing to go to any lengths. You know, for myself, you know, when I came into the program, I literally went into Maplewood Alano Club, and we did the meeting. Well, they did the meeting. I was just kind of there, and I think when it was my turn to talk, I literally was just crying, and I just said I don't know what to do, and I need help. And they helped. I mean, somebody got me a big book and said, you know, you should probably read this. And you know, I think I kept going to meetings almost every day for a couple weeks, and Todd was chairing a meeting, and I just wanted what he had. I mean, not all of it, but I mean, I wanted, but I wanted what Todd had. He was happy. I don't know why, I just did. And, you know, the willing to go any length really stood out to me. I mean, and it can be intimidating. I mean, it was like, well, what does it mean willing to go to any lengths? Does it mean like you have to fucking destroy it? No, not necessarily, but.
I have a question before we get further into this. Would you say, in your opinion, that willing to go to any length can look different for all of us? Could his version of willing to go to any length be different than mine? Or
Yeah,
do we all need to go to the same lengths as you?
No, I think everybody's path is their own, and so my willing to, you know, my willing, I think my willing to go to any lengths was my own, you know, it's, you know, as my sponsor pounded into my head many times, you know, and I'm a firm believer of this, even though I said it was bullshit about 9 million times, that if I put my sobriety first, everything else becomes first class.
That's right.
And that's literally summing up willing to go to any lengths. It's just a really important topic to me because it was like, especially in the very beginning, half the time all I could do was be willing to be willing sometimes. Like I didn't really necessarily like the road that was ahead. It would look like a huge mountain to start or do the steps, but I was willing, and
That's all it takes.
that willingness has carried me so far. And you know, any lengths is different for everybody. You know, I mean, I don't associate with any of my old friends that I had before. I mean, I didn't really have any because I was a shitty person, but I mean, but you know what I'm saying.
Mr. Timmy's got to fly. We're going to get his gratitude quick.
We interrupted you there. I'm sorry. I want to thank the both of you guys big time. Thank you very much. We'll get to know each other a lot more, and I'm sorry for interrupting your topic. Work calls.
Hey, what are you grateful for?
Before I do leave, I want to say that I'm grateful for the opportunities that I have in life today. I welcome them.
Love you, brother.
Tim's gonna go give God a break, so we should.
Hell yeah.
be good here.
Seriously,
Right.
I'm sorry. Your topic sounded awesome. There's a lot I want. Oh, okay.
Get back,
That's what it is.
get back on that horse.
Yes.
I think, you know, for me, willing to go to any lengths was probably, you know, one of the most important things was just willing to look at myself. It was probably my least favorite thing to do, was legitimately look at myself and, you know, how I got where I was. And, you know, it's one thing to look at without rationalizing or without blaming other people, or, you know, because it's not like I didn't get here alone. And, you know, there were a lot of people in my life that have, you know, helped or facilitated or not helped or whatever their part may be. And that was really hard for me to actually have to look at myself and just my part to play in everything. And, you know, I can't even count how many times I didn't want to go to meetings and I went to them. You know, did I feel great when I left the meeting? Well, yeah, I mean, who doesn't? I mean, if you're not, you should go to a different meeting. But, you know, it was little things like, you know, Todd wanted me to call him every single day, and I thought that was the stupidest fucking thing on the planet. I'm like, what the fuck do you mean you want me to call him? It's so dumb. And now I do it with my sponsee, and they don't tell you everything in the beginning. Like, they don't actually tell you that the 9th step promises pertain to doing the 9th step. So I was thinking I'm getting them the whole time, and I did. Don't get me wrong. The promises come true when you start working the program. There's no doubt about it. But I mean, there's all kinds of little things that I just didn't understand. But I had to be willing to do a whole bunch of things that I did. I didn't need to understand them. I just needed to do them. I had to get to a point in my life, and relatively quickly, where I had to be willing to accept the idea that the way that I manage my life sucks. And it took a while. It took a little bit. Todd will be the first one to tell you he didn't really think that he would be very much help to me, because I was so wrapped up in my own shit and everything was everybody else's fault, and I was just and I had a lot of shit going on. It's not like I didn't come here because I had so much fucking free time. I'll tell you that. I didn't have any free time, but I made time for the program, and it's just everybody the lengths that everyone has to go. Everybody's path is their own. What I can say is that for me, it really came down to my life had to start with recovery. Everything else had to go away, and I mean everything. I mean, talk about having to put your mom in a backseat. The only person who's ever been there through everything, always, never flinched. Talk about having to literally almost put her in a backseat because recovery had to come first. I mean, thankfully she understood, but I didn't know whether she would or not. The recovery, I had to get rid of everything. And I mean everything. I mean, everything had to be new and different. And it was just like, fuck, dude, it was terrifying. But it works. It literally just I could only commit to one. Literally, I think the only thing I could commit to at the beginning of the program was just to be willing. And sometimes that was literally to be willing, you know what I mean? And it's just, I don't know how to explain that any better than that. But it grows. And even today, I'm not like, I love it when some people come in and like, I'm recovered. Oh, good for you, dude. Let me know how that works out for you. I'm glad, honestly, I'm glad I'm not recovered. I mean, I'm so wherever the hell I'm at in my second year, and I'm at a point where my sober dates and all that's only important to me because it's important to the newcomer to see it. It's not, I don't count. I mean, I know a lot of people count their days, and I think that's great, but I don't really count my days. I don't know what day I'm on. I'm on today. You know what I mean? That's what I got. But there's been a few todays, and it's a hell of a lot more than I ever thought was possible. And even today, I have to be willing to put my recovery first, and that's still in everything. Like even stuff at work, like, it doesn't seem to be any different no matter where you work, but you just got, for example, you have expectations of the company, and then you have the way you're supposed to achieve those expectations. I'm not going to lie, cheat, or steal to get them. And I don't care if everyone else around me is doing it. I'm not going to do that. And, I'm just not. And it's just a character issue. I'm not going down that road. I can't, because if I lie, cheat, and steal a couple of minutes off the clock, I'm going to lie, cheat, and steal your fucking money and go do dope and fuck everything up. I mean,
That's right.
like I'm not, there's no like, oh, you just stole a few minutes. No, I didn't just steal a fucking few minutes. Like, did you just have one drink? No, I didn't. Who the fuck has one drink? It's retarded.
I used to think that way.
Yeah, like you see people like go out to eat and they like leave a half a glass of what? What was there something wrong with it, or like what happened?
But I drank and used for effect, though.
Like you should get that. You didn't get a to-go cup for that? Like damn. Anyway, you must have started at home. That's what the deal is. You know what I mean? Anyway.
Didn't we all? I always started.
When I first started working in the bar industry, because I was in recovery, I used to be like, dude, these people do not know how to party. They're doing it all wrong.
Yeah.
What the fuck is wrong with them? And all of them, hundreds of thousands of dollars. Like, we fill a dumpster with half full drinks. Like, you could go swimming in it. Yeah, like what is wrong with you people? And I came to a conclusion with myself that, there's at no other point in my life could I have been in the industry that I'm in right now, because I would have either assaulted someone or stolen from them, or be drinking on the job. I couldn't be locked in a room full of liquor. I had to have the urge and the desire removed, which can all come back with one drink, with one simple decision. My obsessive behavior and all of that will come back instantly.
An example of going to any lengths for me would be, you know, so co-parenting can be can be very complicated. Anyway, so an example for me, willing to go to any lengths, is shutting my mouth and and this has gotten better. I mean, I don't feel this way now, but in the beginning, there was a lot of hatred towards, you know, my oldest kid's mom, and I think that had less to do with her and more to do with me, and even that took a long time to say that. But it's true. I mean, and so willing to go to any lengths was like literally just like I had to pick my recovery and shut up and, you know, not fall into the temptation or not fall into the trap or whatever you want to call it of telling her where she's wrong or about, you know, raising the kids or this or that. It was just, it was in the little things that it was willing for me, that was willing to go the length. It was like, just shut your mouth here. You know what I mean? Say something nice instead of something mean. Pretty much do the opposite of everything I've ever done before. Like, it was like fucking SpongeBob SquarePants opposite day. It was literally like going to any length. It's like, so you want me to do the opposite of everything I've ever done? And God's like, now you getting it? Which part of unmanageable don't you understand? And it's like, okay, fine. All right, this is bullshit, but I'll do it. You know what I mean?
You should have given him a break. He might have been easier on you.
Yeah, that's what it was. Now, I was gonna say when he was saying that, I was gonna say, well, God, now I understand why it took so long for him to answer. Sometime he was taking a break. So I don't know.
I'm gonna have to look up that word. I don't know that word.
Which one?
Co-parenting.
Oh, wow. Shots fired, huh?
Nice.
Not everybody's so lucky.
Yeah.
What does that mean?
Yeah, you know, it's willingness to go in like picking peace picking peace and serenity was very hard. It's easier now. Like, hold on, Tim's anyway.
Do you know that because he's in charge of all those buildings, if a police shows up or a fireman shows up, they can't leave till he gets there and signs off on them leaving?
Really?
That's crazy.
Yeah, last time he had to go there, it took him 3 hours, and they made the rookie police officer stay there and wait for him.
Nice.
So I want to ask Todd, what's your input on his little subject there?
Oh yeah, willing to go to any length. It can be extremely daunting early in recovery because I think not only are you changing your entire life and mindset 1,000 times over, it's scary. And I think early in recovery, when you hear people that, oh yeah, you gotta go to any length, and here's what you gotta do, and you gotta do all these things, listen to your sponsor and stuff. It just seems so overwhelming when you're early in recovery. But really, what it comes down to is just that willingness. You know, when I first got into the program, you know, my sponsor had certain expectations, you know, calling him every day and doing these things. And my first instinct is to not do that, not want to do that because I need to control everything. But obviously the 25 years of me controlling things didn't quite work out so well, right? But any length. I explained it to my daughter when I made amends to her, my oldest daughter. And, you know, there's a passage in the big book, I think it's on page 337, Nick. Maybe you can get that out for me. That it's if I put my recovery first, everything I put second becomes first class, right? So the great thing about that is that if I put everything second, I put recovery first, means everything that has to do with me and my sobriety and meetings and sponsors and service work, and if I put that first over everything, including my children, that even though I'm putting them second, they get the best version of me, right? So I had to be willing to do whatever it took. And for me, if I didn't do that, I was literally, my options were death or prison. That's where I was going. One of those two things was going to happen to me if I didn't get sober. And I knew that. And so I didn't want to die. I didn't want to go to prison. So I was kind of pushed, and I had to at least be willing to do certain things. It gets easier, you know, as you do it. But just to change your mindset from, I'm not going to listen to myself, I'm going to listen to somebody else. Once you kind of get used to doing that a little bit, it gets to be a lot easier.
Yeah, I think now that I'm a sponsee to one who hasn't fired me yet. Got fired the first few go rounds. No, it's just now that I'm a sponsor, I'm very grateful that I had the sponsor that I have because, you know, he's doing the things that his sponsor showed him, and I'm showing my sponsee the things that he showed me, and it just works. I'm not making up my own version of sponsoring. I'm not like, this isn't like, you know, my own, you know, I'm not doing my own version of the program. Like I'm doing
Nick's recovery.
way to the next person, and I don't change the way that they were given. I don't add or delete anything. I just take it and I copy it and I just give him the next copy, and hopefully that'll work, and then he can copy that and give it to the next man. And you know, I think that's I can't most when I think about my recovery now, most of it is just gratefulness of where I'm at. I never could have imagined that I would be where I am today and have the life that I have today when I walked in the door. I just didn't want to die when I walked in. Like I wanted to die, but I was too pussy to do anything about it. And like I just wanted the hurt to stop, and I didn't know how to get there. That's all I
Luckily, you
wanted.
didn't die.
Yeah.
I died twice, and then finally figured out I didn't want to die, and it still took me a month to get clean.
Yeah. You know, I just the relationships I have with my kids, you know, and it's stuff like that. Even the relationships I have with my kids, the way that I interact with them is guided by the program, and I didn't even know that was a thing. Like that's a thing. It is a thing. It's guided by the program. Like it's not guided by society. It's not guided by myself. It's not guided by, you know, other people and their opinions or social media, or just we're constantly bombarded with shit all the time about how we should be or shouldn't be. And the way I interact with my kids or my mom or people at work or, you know, my significant other, they're all guided by the program. And I can't even explain how fucking awesome that is. You know what I mean? It's not only awesome because it works, it's awesome because I'm not in control of it. You know what I mean? And it works. It take all the pressure that it takes off my shoulders when it's like, look, I'm just working my program here, so I don't have to. It's not like I'm not the fucking director of the play, and I don't have to be. And I obviously wasn't very good at it, and I don't know how to. It just works, and
I like that section of the big book.
I know.
It made sense. It was one of the few things that made sense the first time I read it.
With where he's trying to control everybody on stage.
Yeah, the actor.
Boy,
Yeah.
did they resent me.
Oh my gosh. I think so. So some of us have gone out to dinner a few times, and one of the times you brought your son, didn't you?
My little twin. Yeah.
So he's you bring your kids around the program. Like
yeah.
they know everything that's going on.
Yeah. When I did my amends with both of them, they both asked what the program was, and I remembered every word of the steps. I don't now, but I did then. Luckily, they post them on the wall for us, but I went through every step with them. They wanted to know, like, what are we doing? And I did like Todd explained to me that he does. And it's like, look, I have to do my program. I have to do my meetings. And when I do these things, you get the best of me. I'm the best dad that I can be because I'm doing these things.
Right.
And so, you know, I don't know why it works. It just does. It's not rocket
It just
science.
does.
It just does, man. You know what I mean?
That's the best thing about this program.
What's your take on going to any lengths, Elena?
Oh my gosh. So I also have a sponsor that wanted she didn't really necessarily say call me every day,
Todd did.
but she suggested that we call her when we were having a problem with our program. Not to call and have her be my therapist, not to call and do all of that, but she wants us to call. She wants us to work her program. She wants us to do all these things. And when I first came back into this program after a really crappy relapse, I dove in head first. I had to, because I knew what was going to happen. I was going to relapse again. I was going to go back out there. And I had a 6-month period where I would make it a month, and then I'd go out and I'd relapse. And then I'd make it 2 months, then I'd go out and relapse. It was kind of like I was celebrating the fact that I made it as far as I did. And then when I finally got it and I dove in, it's unbelievable the amount of things that I have been able to do, not for others, but for myself, because I can't help others until I can help myself. And I literally, there is no length. Nothing is a far enough grasp for me when it comes to recovery. I absolutely know that I need this. I know that I'm always going to be an addict and an alcoholic. I know I'm never going to be recovered. Like people say, this isn't cancer. This isn't remission. We're stuck with this. Like, this is something that's never going to go away. But now, I mean, I'm not going to say I'm okay. I have my moments. I had something come up this week, and I didn't call you and Tim, but I had something come up this week where I almost went and drank on Monday.
Whoa.
Oh, yeah.
Sure happens.
Yeah. I let something in life affect me so much, but instead of drinking, of course, I called my sponsor and I bawled my eyes out like a big old baby because I don't do that. And I let a lot of emotions out, and a solution was found. So I feel better. Let's just say part of my past came back to bite me in the ass that I didn't deal with when I should have. And now the problem's fixed. I just have to make sure I just can't think about it. Now it's dealt with, so now I have to keep it in the past. Because if we think about things, then we keep dwelling, and then that doesn't do anything for us.
Overthink much? You know, a lot of us like to overthink.
And I'm a firm believer when we talk about self-care, because we were talking about self-care earlier, I'm a firm believer that you should never carry things from the day before into the next day. Because when you do that, you're slowly filling that bag, or you're slowly feeding that monkey even more information and more stuff to hold on to, and then it gets heavy.
Right.
And then what are you going to do when something new comes up? You're not going to be able to do anything because you're still dwelling and worrying about everything else that you were worrying about before.
I think that that's true. Also for myself, though, sometimes I just gotta not that day because I'm an emotional creature and I can make emotional decisions. And I have gotten way better at it because I think I make decisions that impact other people in multiple different positions I hold. I'm not just talking about the club. I'm talking about the sober house. I'm talking about different things I do. And my decisions impact other people. So I don't necessarily feel I have the right to make an emotional decisions without all the information now. And that's been a process from me flying off the handle at people to me. And it's weird because in my work and in all sorts of different areas, I have to jump around. And I kind of thrive in that. I thrive in working in a downtown nightclub where, you know, we're one of the largest bars in the state, and I have to jump from problem to problem to problem. And I don't have a true position. I'm one of the only people in the company that does it. And I like that. And it's great when things are on fire because I know where to go, just like my life. So I'm used to that. But not everyone moves like that. My significant other and I have gone around and had days. And when I expect her to move to me, she is exhausted when we're halfway through. And it's not fair. And so I struggle when things are smooth. And then when we're staffed, like at the beginning of twin season, we staffed up at work. So there weren't fires in different areas because they had so many security guys. They had so many servers, so many people in the kitchen. I struggled with that because I now didn't know where to go because there were no glaring. It wasn't like the kitchen is on fire and we're screwed. I didn't know where to go. So I had to find like the little things that you do when it's slow. I had to find other niches, and you know, and so I struggle with that in life when things are going smooth because when things are on fire, I can act. And it used to be where I'd act on my feet, get through the situation, then have to bitch about it for a month. Sometimes that happens. It was afterwards. You'll remember
And
that.
we all used to start our own little fires just to keep things going.
Right. It was. I'd get through the big problem, and then afterwards, I'd blow up, and no one would even. I would blow up, and sometimes no one would even remember the original problem because Tab would be having a fucking temper tantrum.
Tad, does some of that have to do with, you know, when you're stuck like that and you don't have anything to do, that you get alone in your thoughts, and that's part of it?
I mean, maybe it used to be, and now it's just like when I'm at work, I like to stay in motion. Like I said, I put out fires. And I've gotten used to that, whether it be managing sober houses or at the bar or even here. But there is always something else to do. And I remember when I first got clean, I used to come here when no one was here. I had a key and I'd wash walls and I'd do that stuff. And that was where I got my serenity. And things change. And it's just amazing. Like now I get my serenity from one thing, my go-to that I forgot to mention is helping another addict. If I can't get outside of my head, this is what I tell all my sponsees. I'm like, dude, call 3 addicts and just talk about them. If you start talking about yourself, oh, I got new shoes. It doesn't count. Start over. And just try and talk about the other person. And you'll be amazed. Those people will start calling you. Those people, you'll have a new bond with them. And it's weird. I got over 400 people on my phone. And I'll just randomly call people I haven't talked to all year. Once in a while, I'll just be like, you know what? I need to. And because the thing is, the big book talks about this, is the thing, we don't care about all the shorts we got at Costco when we're dying. It's not about our tattoos. That's not what we're asking for. At the end of the day, what e-cig, give me my e-cig on her deathbed. What are you asking for? Your relationships, your people. You want to see your kids. You want to see your best friend. Our relationships are what are real gold, and relationships are work. So we have to put time in them, and that's what I fall back on. And like I was saying, my people change. I used to be a loyalist because of what I touched on earlier in the show, moving around all the time. So anyone who was ever nice to me or like tight with me, I was friends with them forever. Had a real loyalty, like a gang-like loyalty to people, and that's just not applicable. Like I always say what's wrong with our society, and it's just my opinion, is that just because, and Elena always gets mad, but just because Elena's a Packer fan and I'm a Viking fan doesn't mean we have to hate each other. We can agree to disagree.
Boo,
and that's not something, I don't have to cancel Elena because she's a Packer fan. And likewise, she doesn't have to cancel me because I'm a Vikings fan.
Boo,
we can agree
The
to
P
disagree.
comes before the V in the alphabet, okay?
We can agree to disagree. I mean, Green Bay,
I
like,
don't put P and V together like that, but that's just me.
oh my gosh. Wow. I mean,
is
and
this
so
kid?
Sarah said when you're so busy you don't have to deal with your own demons. I mean, that could be, but some of us just operate at a, I'm a high-strung individual. That's how I operate
Well,
well.
the reason I ask you that is because I think when I first got sober, that was a big struggle for me, was when I didn't have a lot going on. If I was home, the 6 months I didn't have a job when I first got sober, I struggled with not having anything to do, and my mind would run. And that was a struggle for
My
me.
whole first year and a half.
Yeah.
Yeah, I essentially went to treatment full-time and therapy full-time for my first year. And many deep step dives into the big book and Narcotics Anonymous later. Many 4-step workshops, and the guys that come on here once a month, Rick and Jesse, lots of conversations and stuff have, we evolve. We're people and we all evolve. So it's just interesting, and I'm interested in the people and their process now, because everyone's process is a little different. We all go about these 12 steps, there's guidelines, but our process in that process is different. Your process is different. My process is different. Elena's process is different. And to me, that's almost like an art. And it's your own art. And what works, they always say what works for me won't work for you. Well, I tried anything at certain points. And some of it worked and some of it didn't. And some of it works today and some of it won't work tomorrow. And that's what's cool about it. And that's everything. I don't know. I mean, I do like being busy, but I don't. Like when I slow down now, I'm like, oh, peace. Because there's a difference between isolation and solitude. And now I enjoy my solitude. Because I used to always say this, because I used to live in a sober house where I managed 20 guys. I worked with addicts. I'd come here. I was always around people. And I did security at a nightclub. Everything I did was around people. And I had to be on my toes and doing de-escalation constantly, which is a hard way to live. It's a hard way to live, and and when you live like that and you de-escalate 130 problems in a month, no one talks about the 125 you did perfectly. They talk about the 3 where you got a little hot, and they talk about the 2 where you blew up. That's it. That's all they're going to talk about. They're not going to talk about the guys you walked out, the guy who had a knife and was cool. They're going to talk about the guy you punched in the mouth and how you're hot. And that's how it is. My mentor, KG Wilson, used to say, and he's a national peace activist for 17 years now, and he used to always say this. He used to say, all that will go away if I attack someone. If I pulled out a gun or if I attack someone, they will talk about my 30 seconds. They won't talk about the 17 years. We still got a little bit of time. What else do you guys want to talk about?
Elena, you're just joining us. You got to have a topic.
Oh, yeah. What's your topic, Elena? Let's put Elena on this one.
I don't have topics.
Did you have something for self-help?
I do have something
Yeah, I
for
was about to say
self-love.
we could badmouth
So-
the Packers for the next 20 minutes or so.
She doesn't like
You could
that.
also get your butt kicked on the air, but we're not going to talk about that. So, we're going to talk about my self-love thing here because last week I was going to talk about this, but we had a really good show and I wasn't going to interrupt.
Are we going to do the actual segment then?
No, I'm just going to give something that I want everybody to do.
Oh, a homework.
Yes.
No segment, just the homework
Just
part.
the homework.
Yay!
You know, and it's not even homework. If you look at it, it's for your recovery.
Oh, it's self-help.
It's for your recovery. So I've always talked about different things that I do for my recovery and stuff like that. Like tonight, I decided to take I will say this on the air, my asshole of a dog for a walk. And he's still a puppy. Like he's very well house trained.
You can't call your dog an asshole and then say it's a puppy. It
Just
doesn't-
hold on. He's a husky, so he's going to be a puppy forever. He's 3. He's about to be 4. And we decided to take him for a walk tonight. I can't feel my arm. And 2 little dogs were walking across on the other side of the street, and it literally sounded like my dog was dying, how bad he was crying. 2 of my neighbors came out of their houses to see if somebody was beating my dog because he was crying so bad. And I was like, oh my gosh, this is not helping me at all. Like I wanted to go for a walk, get out
Peaceful.
in nature. I love my higher power. Like I wanted to go enjoy it.
Yes.
No. So I've come to the conclusion that my dog needs a friend. And it's not my children because
You getting a puppy?
I might have to look into like fostering or doing something because
Just
he
get a
needs
puppy.
a friend.
Get a puppy. They're easy.
He
That
needs a
won't be
friend. And you know what?
inconvenient.
My friend Tracy does this thing, and every time he gets a new puppy, I go over there and I check out the new puppies. So I might have to look into it. But I downloaded a 30-day self-care challenge.
Oh,
I know. And every day I'm going to do one of these, and I'm just going to read off a few of them. But so one of them is getting out in nature, which I do all the time because, as a lot of people know, nature is my higher power.
heck yeah, B.
And then there's another one that said bake something, volunteer or donate, plant something, take a nap, pamper yourself, make a goals list. Another one is to make a gratitude list, which that's one of the things I do with my sponsees. Make a gratitude list. I have so many little note cards with gratitude lists, and don't tell me that you can't come up with a gratitude list. I don't care if coffee is the number 1 thing on your list every single day. It's something to be grateful for.
Can I just nap for 30 days?
No, you cannot. That's
I am
cheating.
improved. You come out of the nap
That's
just like
cheating.
glowing,
I'm
glowing
waiting,
with
I'm
an
waiting until
aura.
she gets to the calisthenics when I can quit. That's what I'm out.
Yoga's on here.
Alright,
Like,
so-
there's so many things that you can be going out and doing. I mean, just there's so many different lists. So you don't even have to use the ones that I just mentioned. Just look up a 30-day self-care challenge, and there's so many of them. I got this off of Pinterest. So I mean, there's just so many things that you can do. So that's what I'm doing this month. Every single day, I'm doing something for myself. Tomorrow, I'm doing something for my daughter. I'm changing her brakes and her rotors on her vehicle because she waits until the very last minute when she's probably going to die. So tomorrow, I'm tearing apart her vehicle to fix those. Like there's just things that you can do, even if it's for somebody else. Like that is self-care for me. My daughter's gonna live because she's gonna have brakes.
Nice.
Like there's just certain things. So that's
What
all.
stops you
Just-
from worrying too?
Self-care my car whenever you want to. I mean,
I
could use
will if you need me to.
some. Well, I didn't think you were going to take me up on it. I mean,
Well, I will if you need me to. YouTube does wonders.
I know, right?
YouTube does
right.
wonders. I'm now.
You
a
can learn how to do
vlogger.
almost anything on
For
YouTube.
real. I learned how to change my shocks on YouTube. Like, it was pretty flippin' awesome.
Many years ago, I went to apprentice for a mechanic, and he handed me a tablet and told me how to YouTube it. He said, YouTube everything.
Yeah.
He left.
Step by step.
He left to go do other projects and left me with trucks and stuff. It was like just YouTube. I was changing ball joints and stuff, and I was like, I'm a meth addict. I don't know what I'm like. This is bad. He's like, just YouTube it. You can rewatch the video. It'll be okay. And I was like, this doesn't seem right.
It's so crazy what you can learn on YouTube. It really is. I don't know, but that's pretty much all I have for that. I just want everybody to look into that because it's really not a bad idea. It's really not. And if you're having a bad day and you need something to do, you can pull something off of that and it might inspire you.
And everyone who listens to this all week and is listening now should text Elena. Her number, if you scroll up,
Go
is
ahead,
on there.
text me.
What you did. She loves this stuff.
I do.
She totally does.
I do. You know what? Yeah. That's like the last time somebody posted something on Facebook and said, Elena's having a bad day. She needs everybody to comment and send her a text. And I started getting my phone just blown up.
Oh,
Got
you
you,
feel
got you on your
good.
own head though, didn't it?
feels good.
I think it was our buddy Ryan here at the podcast that did that, or somebody did. I can't remember who did it. But yeah, let's just say I was getting lots of messages that day and my phone would not stop. And I'm like, I don't know if it's work or if it's my friends or what is going on, but my phone would not stop. And that's another thing on that list is getting off of social media for the day.
Yeah, that's on a lot of new self-help apps.
Yep.
My
Turning
self-help.
off the TV, listening to music, which I will tell you, I listen to more music than I do watch TV. Like every morning I have a dance party getting ready for work. We at work have a dance party walking down the hallway. Like it doesn't matter. Like I love music. So
Yeah, you just have dance parties. That's okay.
yes,
though. It's okay.
it's okay.
Yeah.
Nobody's gonna think you're weird if all of a sudden you start busting out and dance. They're gonna think that you're a very happy person. Okay, they might think you're a little crazy, but
I don't know when
that's okay too.
When Mandy and I are driving down the street and we see someone jamming out, we always wonder what they're listening to. We just want to know.
Why don't you just ask them?
Well, because we're driving by the car and they're walking down the street jamming out. Like we're not judging them. We're just like, what?
Well, now that it's nice outside, I rolled down all my windows and opened my sunroof today, and I was blaring music on 93X, and I think people thought that I was crazy, but it felt amazing.
I thought for sure that you weren't going to be here today because there was a Justin Bieber concert.
Really?
No, really?
Elena's got the
I
Bieber
just went to the
fever.
Apocalyptica concert, and it was
Oh, I love
flippin'
those guys.
amazing. Oh, it was amazing.
Yeah.
I'm a little bitter. I'm missing Bieber for this.
Yes,
Is that true?
that is true. That is true. Sorry, bud.
It's all right.
Sure.
I'll survive.
It's all right. I can play a song afterwards.
I wouldn't know if it's
We can
Justin
see you
Bieber or
jamming
not.
to it.
Yeah.
I like
Yeah.
to make TikToks, so we'll make TikTok.
You're a
We,
TikToker?
we could make a TikTok. I guess that's what the kids do.
That's what the kids do.
I don't
It
know.
is.
I'm trying to be hip and cool like my kids. Actually, I'm trying to embarrass
I'll leave
them.
all
I was going to say, are you embarrassing mom?
stuff
I'm
you
trying to
guys. I
embarrass
don't know a
TikToks,
whole
yeah.
lot about that. Yeah, the iGoogle and the iHopping and stuff. I don't know how to do all that stuff.
One of my
you guys
favorite
got it.
parts of being a parent, besides being proud of them, is being embarrassing.
So one of my kids, their friends will come over and they'll be like, "Your mom is like," they'll be whispering downstairs, "Your mom is like the coolest mom in the entire world. We love coming over here." So then my job is to embarrass the heck out of them. And then my kids, they'll be like, my kids are they're two different individuals. One of them listens to heavy rock, the other one listens to hip hop. So I'll walk into one room and I'll be dancing hip hop, and then I walk into the other room and I'm headbanging 2 seconds later. And they're like, "Mom, what are you doing?" I'm like, "I'm just trying to fit in." Fit in with the kids in my house. It's so hard.
Do we all have kids here?
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
What's your? Let's all share our favorite embarrassing dad or mom moment.
There's so many.
Is it something that I did, or
Yeah, or either or. I would say that you did. My favorite embarrassing moment of my kids. So my kid's a limper. My oldest, Levi, he played football, and he's a limper. We all know what that means. A football player. Think of Percy Harvin. Always limping. Maybe making a big deal about something that's not. So we had been going through it, and he finally started getting pretty good at football, and so he was limping, and I could tell that he wasn't hurt because I'm his dad. and I know that move. It's my move. And I knew that move. It's my move. I was just being a limper today at work for fun, and everyone thought I was really hurt. And I'm like, no, I'm absolutely fine. I'm just fucking with you guys. And so I know that move. And I jumped the guardrails in the middle of the game, grabbed him as he's limping, picked him up, was like, my baby, my baby. And I started kissing him like, we need to go to the hospital. Are you all right? He jumped right up and ran out, and he's like, I'm fine, Dad.
Oh my God, I would have killed you.
Yeah, never did he do that again. He got over that. I said, I'm going to do that every time because I love you so much, and I just want to make sure you get the best care.
Yeah.
I had him in my arms and everything, and he was 16 or 15. He was 15.
Oh my God.
His friends are not going to let him live that one.
No, he's never lived that down.
Oh my God. Do you have one, Todd?
I'm trying to think of one. Are we talking about an active addiction or sobriety?
Either or.
Either.
Yeah, I don't have to think about it. I'll have to pass it off to one of you guys first.
Do you have one?
All I can think of is every time I come in the room and my 16-year-old daughter's there, I'm so embarrassing. Every time.
Oh.
On purpose or just?
No, my existence is
Because you
embarrassing. Yeah, especially when her friends are over.
That's the age.
You're so embarrassing. Like I just existed. I haven't even said anything yet. Just wait till I open my mouth. It's so bad. Or when I take. Oh yeah, I suppose it's pretty. My son was pretty embarrassed when I take pictures of him when he's sleeping because he's so fucking cute.
That is kind of embarrassing.
And
I do that all the time,
And I
but they
show
don't
him to
care.
everybody. Like he'll have his arm above his head, and he'll be like weird and like this weird like creature position he sleeps in. He's a kicker, and I take pictures of him. When
How
he's
do I
sleeping.
not
show
know
them to
this,
everybody.
and how have you not shared these pictures
Yeah,
with
you
me?
wanna see
So,
them?
yeah, well, you just text them to me. That's
I'll
fine.
text you pictures of my son sleeping. Okay.
Yeah, because I know.
And they'll pull this record up when they subpoena us later.
Oh my gosh. Okay, so I really don't have anything like big that I've done like big, but my kids hate it when I post pictures of when they were younger on Facebook because they're cuter now than they were when they were little. They say, but no, they were cuter when they were.
Oh,
little.
everyone's cuter when they're
So
little.
my ex and I, we did a lot of home improvement to the house that I live in.
Yes.
And we used to go to Home Depot all the time. And when my kids were younger, they were too little to stay home. And we went to Home Depot, and I don't know if we had just got done watching one of those Jackass movies, but we were in Home Depot and we were redoing part of the kitchen, a bathroom, and something else in the house. And we were walking through Home Depot with the two girls, and they hated going shopping with us, and they went walking to go find a new vanity for their bathroom.
Yeah.
And my ex yelled down the hall, like we're walking down the main thing, and he yelled down the hall, "Don't shit in that toilet!" A bunch of employees came running. My kids went the other way, and they said, "We're leaving now." And they have never been back to Home Depot since.
You scarred them.
And these are two girls, so like, and then the kids that ran up were like teenage, like they looked like they were 16 to 18, and they just looked like, oh my God, am I gonna have to clean up an aisle full of shit?
Yes.
I may
That's
have
pretty
to try
good.
that with my daughter.
My poor girls, they hated their stepdad for that, and they have not been back to Home Depot with me.
Oh my god.
And I love Home Depot. I go there all the time. So they refuse. So that was probably their most embarrassing moment of their life.
That's great.
And I was practically falling over doing it. It was the funniest thing ever.
I got asked to coach after I jumped the guardrail. Oh, he was so mad.
Nice.
Oh my
He was like,
God.
it's got to be the opposite side of the ball. And I was like, fine.
You know, at my son's baseball games last summer, we would always sit, my mom and the rest of us would always sit on third base line, and he played third base, and while he would ignore us because, he couldn't, we were embarrassing,
Oh my
And
God.
so while he was playing third base, I'd always be like, Cam, I love you. Cameron, hey, it's Dad. And he'd ignore me, and I'd be like, I love you. Say it back. Cam, say it back. And he would just get so mad at me. And all his friends would be like, hey, Cam, I think your dad loves you.
My kids used to get so I will say, when my kids played, because we're a big softball family, and when my kids were playing softball when they were younger, they played up until like COVID. I would be that loud, annoying mom that would be getting mad because the ump made a bad call or because somebody didn't catch a ball, and I'd be jumping up and down, and they're just like, "Oh my God, Mom, you're so embarrassing. Can you just sit there like all the other moms?"
Yeah.
No.
Right. Where's the fun in that?
I'm like, you guys should
Right.
come to my game, and then they'd be like, "No, because the people you play with are just as annoying as you." Yes.
It's funny. My kids think that I put them in sports for them. It's not for you. It's for me. Why do you think I'm here every game? It's not for you.
General manager, dad. Yes.
It's for
Those
my
are the
entertainment.
best parents.
I loved when my kids played sports, and then it motivated me to start playing sports again. Like it's a huge motivator. If your kids are doing it, then why can't you be doing it?
It's fun.
I don't know. Well,
We should probably move into
we
gratitude.
have to do some gratitude here.
Yeah, what are you grateful for, Elena?
What am I grateful for? I'm grateful that I have amazing friends in recovery. When I need someone to talk to, there's somebody that I can talk to.
Nice.
Yes. Todd, what are you grateful for?
You know, I'm grateful for the weather, first of all. We've had such a horrible spring. I'm grateful that the weather has turned and it's going to be beautiful this weekend. You know, I'm always just grateful I have a bed to put my body in at night and sleep and food to eat and a job to go to and be a normal person for the most part.
Heck
So
yeah.
I'm absolutely grateful for that.
Heck yeah. Nick, what are you grateful for?
Well, it's not for being normal because I'm not. So there's that. Honestly, I'm grateful for the program, man. I'm grateful to be able to be in a place where I can give away what was freely given to me. I'm grateful for having people in my life that don't suck, that I'm not using, they're not using me. Like we actually care about each other, and I'm grateful for the person that God's molding me into. I think that's probably. And it's a lot of work to do, I'm sure he needs a break after having to work on me so much, but
Tim will give him some breaks. Don't worry.
I'll leave that to Tim for his scheduled breaks, but yeah, I'm grateful for the opportunity to be of service, to be honest with you. So
Heck yeah.
that's what I got.
Tad, what are you grateful for?
Today Tad's grateful for being here. It's been a little while since I've got to be here. Just the beautiful night sounds of Minneapolis.
Nothing like sirens going off in
Love
the
my
background.
city. I'm grateful that I get to be here, and I'm grateful I get to show up differently and not all at once. And I'm grateful I have good people in my life. So despite me, sometimes God and the people in my life and the things that happen despite me. And that's huge because we all can be our own worst enemies sometimes. And but we also have to have a little self-awareness and realize that sometimes you know you best and you know what's going on. And if you get too many voices in your head because you get counsel from 35 people, that might get confusing. If you go in with a plan to paint a door red and everybody tells you should leave the door brown and it's old, or you get, he's telling me black, he's telling me white, you're telling me rainbow. Now the door looks like crap. Or it's the same when the whole point was to paint the door and I just need to pick a damn color. So and I used to not be able to do that. Because I needed everyone else to tell me what Tad was going to be so I could be that person for you. And now I am who I am, for better or worse, and I love that. And I'm grateful that I get to be Tad. That's cool because I don't know who I was being before. So that's gratitude.
Are you doing a buzzer beater now that you're here?
You want to do a buzzer beater?
Yes.
I was trying to figure out how I was going to do final thoughts, but we can do a buzzer beater.
Well, no, we still have time. We need to do a buzzer beater.
Yeah, we have plenty of time. We can go as late as we want. That's the cool thing about us doing the show.
Yeah, we don't follow rules.
So
We don't have any.
buzzer beater. Do you guys know what a buzzer beater is? A buzzer beater is a really quick question, and we just answer it. So for a buzzer beater, what is the most annoying characteristic in someone in the rooms?
Ego.
Ego?
Oh, there's so many.
Self-obsession. Self-obsession. And I'm going to double dip. talking about something that has nothing to do with the subject.
Ooh, I know what mine is because I bitch about it to Todd all the time. It's when people you're in a meeting and they talk about having a problem, but they refuse to say what that problem is in any way, shape, or form. Like at
I
all.
do that.
I know, but you can't identify with what they're saying because they're not actually saying anything. They're just like saying they have a problem, and we're all like, yeah, who the fuck doesn't? And
They're talking circles
I don't
around
do all
it.
that.
Yeah.
yeah, you know what I mean? It's like, but they refuse. I mean, of course, we all keep our stuff personal to whatever degree, you know, depending on what the situation is. But, you know, I would prefer that people would be courteous enough to at least say enough for the rest of the room to relate to where you're coming from. You know what I mean? I mean, you don't have to like, you know, spill the beans or anything.
I'm going through something, but it's really hard, and I
Yeah,
can't tell you what it's
right,
going
you know
through.
what I
It's
mean?
caused me stress, and it's a thing.
Yes.
Yeah,
That's
I
what
know
I'm
it.
saying. And you're just sitting there going, really, dude? What the fuck did you even come to the meeting for, dude? You know what I mean?
Oh my gosh. Okay, Todd, what about you?
Probably ego and self-centeredness, only because it's a reflection of what I used to be.
And I was
always
going
think
to
I
add
just
that caveat. Why does it bug you? But you know, we
Well,
all
that's-
know.
it-
We all know
yeah,
why
'cause I
these
can-
things
I
bug
can
us.
see myself.
Yeah.
Right? I can see me doing that.
Either what we used to be or something. Yeah. And we all know the thing, like when you fix a character defect or you start working on it, all of a sudden it's glaring at everyone else.
Yeah.
Ooh, my close second is when somebody sits in the meeting, especially when they're like the last or second to last person to speak, and they literally say the exact opposite of what you should do in the program, like whatever it is. They're like, well, I know, you know, it's like everyone else is like, well, I should really do this thing, and this guy comes up and he goes, well, I don't have, no, you shouldn't. It's like they say the exact opposite of what you should do, and everyone in the room looks at him and it's just like, really? Were you even in the fucking meeting?
I just try and quote the big book in those
know what I mean?
situations, and that's what I try and do. I try and quote I try and keep myself out of it.
Right.
I try not to be like, now Todd, that's bullshit. I try and quote the big book for whatever
Say
it is.
that?
You know, it's not nice.
Or like
have
if
to
you
call my
like if
sponsor.
6 people in the meeting are like, you know what, you need to get, you know what, get a sponsor, do the big
Martyrdom.
book, do the steps, and then the last guy that speaks like, you know, I just don't think it's necessary to get a sponsor or do
Right.
the big book and do the steps, and you're just kind of looking at him like, dude, did you fucking what the fuck did you hear in here, dude? Like, what do you think you're doing?
You cringe.
Well, a
Yeah.
person that
Sarah says martyrdom.
Yeah, like
Right.
apparently you have your own program.
Sarah says what?
Martyrdom. She doesn't like martyrs. That's her pet peeve.
Yes.
All right. Well, how about, do you have any final thoughts with
I do.
that tonight?
I do. I promised some people to tune in because I would have an interesting final thoughts, and it's going to be on nothing of what they think, and it's going to be
It's going to be on nothing?
no, it's going to be on something, but not what people think. So it's in tonight's final thoughts. This is going to be outside of the box, way outside of the box for my norm, but I'm going to loop it back around. So bear with me. We know how these goes.
We're quiet.
So the Timberwolves are now out of the playoffs. But many, many weeks ago, like 2 or 3, they won a plan to get into the playoffs. And two players, but one, Pat Bev, flipped out, threw his jersey off into the stands, and they started celebrating like they won the NBA championship. And people like Charles Barkley, I'm going to rip on 2 famous people here and many more, and Shaquille O'Neal, they made fun of us as a city, not just the Timberwolves. They made fun of us for celebrating. And my caveat here is simply this. The Timberwolves have been the worst team in the NBA since 1989 when they were created. For the entirety of that, they only have had one good season, not counting this year where they got bounced in the first round. They're a young team, and my city, our city, Minneapolis, was just on fire 2 years ago. We've been locked in our houses with COVID, depressed, and we have literally not had anything to root together for. So as a city, when the worst team in the history of the NBA, your Minnesota Timberwolves, and all that stuff happens, don't you think it's okay that we finally celebrated? And they said, act like we've been there. When have we been there? When have we been there? When in the last 20, 30 years has anyone in Minnesota, I mean the Lynx, sorry, but the 4 major professional sports, hockey, when have we been anywhere? We haven't. So we celebrated We wanted to have a frickin' parade. You should have seen Minneapolis, and that's okay. We haven't been able to hold our hands and unite together as a city forever, and that's okay. And I think it leads me to my next point. Making fun of people like we were talking about, whether they're into, everyone's a nerd for something. You might be a nerd for tattoos. He might be a nerd for cars. You might be a nerd for Lego. Just because I don't understand that doesn't mean you get to make fun of me for that. It's not okay, because everyone likes something. Everyone is passionate about something, and we all get to celebrate in our own way. And that was Minnesota's way. Maybe we never get a championship. God, I hope not. But you know what? We celebrated because we needed to be together for something. We needed to. The city needed to heal, and that's okay. And, you know, I don't know. That's just my final thoughts. So before you judge people and tell them to act like they've been there, or tell them like dressing like wearing sweatsuits, I got made fun of because my work's never seen me outside of work. So, or I'm always in a button-up or jeans, like I'm going to a board meeting. So they've never seen how I dress, that I dress like a rapper from the 90s. They've never seen. The owner of my
Man shirt underneath.
yeah, my owner was like, he grabbed everyone and hid behind. He's like, I thought you were a Russian mobster. And I was like, yeah, that's pretty much, I exclusively wear sweatsuits when I'm not at work or not having to do something professional. When I'm not having to represent the club, or I'm not having to do that. And sometimes I still wear sweatsuits too because they're comfortable. I made a decision when I got sober. I was going to dress how I want and be comfortable and like what I like, superheroes and the such, the Minnesota Timberwolves and whatnot. And because that's who I am. So, hey, I want to say thank you to everyone. I want to say thank you to our guest, Elena. Who's on the show next week?
Oh gosh. Next week we have Rick and Jesse doing step 5.
I think we're just going to have... No, this week, yes. Never mind. Scratch that. That's June. They need an adjustment. But
Okay, either way, we're doing step 5 next week.
with Rick and Jesse. So we're going to have a great show next week. Hey, I want to thank everyone for tuning in, everyone watching. Hey, man, come check out the Ride for Recovery. Come check out 2218. The links are posted. If you want to contact me, Tim or Elena, that is super cool. Please do so. Love yourself, and don't be too hard on yourself. Love another, and let's wake up tomorrow and try and be a little bit better than we were. All right. This is the Attitude for Gratitude signing off.